I don't know. I hope your audio is up high enough. I don't know. I don't know if they can hear you or not.
I don't know if they can or not.
I'm hoping they can.
We did. Good time.
You are. Yeah. You're a star as well, Mr. Bomb.
I'm a big Spreaker star.
You don't seem so angry today.
I don't know. Why, am I always angry, am I?
Well, I guess not. Not all the time.
I didn't realize I was always angry. I just thought I was somebody that you could easily make angry.
Well, is that the angry pothead?
I've got 3 gears, Nabz. Stop, stoned, and angry.
That's funny. That's funny. Stop stoned.
So, what's your thoughts on Trump this week, Nabz?
Oh, shit. Oh, wait. Okay, get this shit. So I didn't hear nothing about the Snoop Dogg video with Trump in it, right? Until earlier.
I just heard about it today.
Yeah, earlier this morning. I posted it on my shit, and the next thing I know, it's on fucking news on the TV when it wasn't this morning. Like, they're finally catching up with the morning social media. But anyway, so the whole Trump... Oh, dude. Oh, my God. I give Obama this. He did not respond to any of the right-wing weirdos or radicals or any of that.
It's like a stand-up comedian. If you're a stand-up comedian and you're doing a set and you respond to every heckler, you're never going to do your set.
Exactly. Right? Exactly what I was trying to say. You nailed that on the head. That's exactly what I'm trying to say.
So Donald Trump always surrounded himself, like, obviously, has always been surrounded by yes men.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's never had to be accountable to anybody ever. Because he was always surrounded by people that sucked his ass.
Right.
So now he's in office.
Uh-huh.
Everybody's not sucking his ass, and he don't know how to handle it.
Right.
Like he can't. Like he's. I know some people say that he's a genius and he's just using it as a distraction, and I say bullshit. I say bullshit. I say that he doesn't know how to handle
There's nothing genius about that guy other than his ability to manipulate bank fraud and get away with it. That's the only achievement he's ever accomplished.
He knows how to fucking smooth talk fucking people.
Idiots. Well, not all of them are idiots. They're easily deceived, though.
A lot of the people he didn't fool. They're just using him as
a battering ram.
Yeah, they're riding his coattails.
Yeah, if it will, right now. Okay, this is the way I look at Trump. America itself is that jungle wasteland from King Kong.
Yeah.
Know what I'm saying?
I do.
I mean, like, civilization is the gate around D.C. And, like, the villagers are thinking that they've raised Kong, and Kong's crashing that gate, in D.C. When, in fact, he's there fucking and making lots of monkeys.
Exactly. Yeah, like...
He's making monkeys.
He tapped into...
hate and discontent.
He tapped into white people, and a lot of white people don't want to admit it, but most white people are racist.
Yeah,
and are very aware of white privilege, even though they deny it exists. They're well aware that white privilege exists. Anybody that ever sat in a classroom, you know what I mean,
and got away with picking on the Latino or black kid, no.
Yeah, you know what I mean, and he tapped into that and fooled them people into thinking that he was their savior when they're not the one. They're like it's confusing to me from the outside looking in as a Canadian.
Well, I'll tell you, not being a Canadian, right, and being on the inside, it's confusing as hell to me too. So, hey, there we go.
Yeah.
Right.
We're living on the edge.
I don't know why anybody before the election would think Donald Trump represented them. Like everything you have to know about Donald Trump. Right? At no time in his life did he ever show any empathy or anything towards anybody other than himself.
Exactly, and everyone knew it. So,
but these people all just lapped him up, like he was the guy. He never said anything of any substance. He never talked policy. All he ever did was go out and act like a fucking internet troll. That's all he ever did. He just went out, Ted Cruz's father killed fucking, Kennedy.
Right.
His wife's a real fucking dog. And
dude.
Bush,
get this. In the history of my life, I have never seen a president be talked about by the media in such a way.
Yeah.
In my life. They're seriously going, okay, he's calling facts, truth on facts and all this shit. And they're literally calling truth on facts on his facts, showing the facts. Which just makes him look like a complete fucking idiot.
Anytime that man ever spoke about anything, he looked like a fucking dummy.
Look at George W. Bush, man. They did that shit. He did that shit too. We're going to make the pie higher.
Yeah.
You remember that shit?
Yeah, but the difference between George W. Bush and Trump...
I had that magnet. Oh, is it George W. Bush isn't destroying the country anymore. He's making oil paintings.
Yeah, but he was... At least he knew how to go out... he would just say stupid things. He wouldn't go out and just tell barefaced lies and just expect everybody to believe them.
Right.
You know what I mean? The big thing about Trump is the Twitter. In the morning when he's obviously taking his shit, he's on his phone first thing. He's that's when he's at his best. I just found out Obama had my phone's tapped. Trump
I
Tower.
just ripped out some caviar. Goddamn, fucking What was that? Fucking sherry, some sherry and caviar.
Well, apparently,
look at this frickin' article in Esquire.
Apparently he lives on Kentucky Fried Chicken and he eats a lot of Kentucky Fried Chicken, I guess. Doesn't eat very good. And I seen another thing the other day, $400,000 a week it's costing U.S. taxpayers to secure Trump Tower to keep fucking his son and Melania secure while they live in Trump Tower and he's at the White House. Right? That's crazy.
Robbery of our frickin' coffers, what that is.
Get your fucking privileged ass into the White House, whore, and appreciate the fucking office that your husband holds and fucking be there for 4 years. That's what I say.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean? And I don't give a fuck what anybody says about that.
Yeah, but, okay, Joe, do you know anybody that has been, to prison, lockdown, or whatever?
Oh, it's Canadian prison.
Okay, well, on the underground side, I've communicated with other Canadian prisoners and shit via mail system and shit. And the one thing that is pretty much generically the same is mail order bride catalogs. It's something that prisoners hand around all the fucking time. That bitch is a mail order bride, bro. 150%. She is the spitting image of the bitches that I used to see in those magazines.
She was a model. He met her as a model in New York, but she come here illegally, was working here illegally before, you know what I mean?
Right.
And then he met her, she was married, and she wouldn't give him her phone number, but she took his. So, you know what I mean? She's just a fucking whore. Is all she is.
And they're accepting this bitch who's a mail order fucking whore.
Can you imagine if Barack Obama
had a whore as a wife? He never would have gotten into office.
If Barack Obama was married to a woman from Russia, And then when he got elected, if she had decided that she's not gonna live in the White House, her and her son are gonna fucking stay, in the Obama Tower, costing taxpayers $400,000 a week. Can you imagine the shitstorm?
Huge shitstorm, dude. Huge.
Third wife, let alone third wife. Right? This is the party of fucking moral.
Oh, because this is a bipartisan presidency, in my opinion. Bipartisan of the crooks.
Yeah. Like, can you imagine if it was reversed?
That's why nothing is stinking. Because the shitbags that would normally make us stink about Obama are part of it.
Well, the reason nothing is being kicked up is because Democrats, when they're not in power, go with the flow better. They don't dig their heels in and refuse to work with the other side for 4 years. You know what I mean? The Republicans are like fucking spoiled kids. When they're not in power, they absolutely refuse to fucking do anything until they are in power. Right? And that's just the way it is. Like that's borderline illegal and treason to me.
I think it's 100% treason. We should drag them all into the streets and hang them.
When you're talking about...
Oh, wait, did I just say that? Yeah, I did.
When your party platform is, fiscal responsibility and yada, 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 and for 4 years your whole purpose is to just bog down government...
You know what my solution is? That local level politicians, you start from the bottom up, and you start mandating... If their position gives a salary, the salary is equal to the average means of the income of the district in which they serve. So if they want to make more money, they've got to not make the businesses in the community more money.
I agree.
They got to make the workers make more money and the customers that are buying from the businesses making more money. Because that's how that whole system works instead of top down. The idea is the top down don't work.
You have a job that pays a little over $100,000 a year, plus expenses, that most of these guys, once they're there 10 years, are all fucking millionaires. Right?
Yeah.
Like, all these guys that get elected to Congress and Senate, once they're there, like 2 terms, they're all a millionaire. How do they get so rich so quick?
When that money is supposed to be going into the community.
No, well, they only make $100,000 a year or whatever as salary. So where are they getting all their fucking money? Right? It's fucking...
Deals against the people, like environmental acts that they ignore for a wink contribution.
Insider trading and fucking... And all kinds of stuff. They do all kinds of fucking shit. All kinds.
Mm-hmm. It's unending, honestly. Matter of fact, they just caught another auditor here. This is like the 4th auditor in the last 4 years they've caught in this area. In a small town outside of Springfield that was milking the coffers.
That happens, bud. If you go around and read newspapers all over North America, that happens everywhere.
I don't get it.
Everywhere.
I don't even get it. How is that even possible? You get what I'm saying? Like, nobody checks the check of the check? I mean, come on. How fucking dumb are you? You're like, I wouldn't just hand anybody my checkbook and not have a monitor checking the checkbook. You know what I mean? So, like, if I had a treasurer, there'd be somebody checking what the treasurer was doing. I would have that second person.
So, you know about the Barack Obama's 2005 tax returns, right? Or not Barack, I mean Trump.
Trump, that he refuses to release them and all that good shit.
No, Rachel Maddow did a thing yesterday on his 2005 report. Here, I'm going to send you the clip.
Okay.
And
we'll play it. Yeah, we'll play it.
And I want you to listen to it so we can talk about it. Now, again,
we'll play it.
In context, I want you to always remember.
Don't give me rules, Angry Bong.
No, but
wait! Wait! I am under your power, Angry Bong.
I always want you to remember this in the context. If it was Obama.
If it was Obama.
Always trade Trump's name
for Obama.
Okay. Just imagine if it was reversed.
Okay.
Is all, you know what I mean?
Oh, all right. I got you. And you're linking that where?
I'm gonna put it right here in your.
If you guys would like to join us, we're down to 30 minutes. But if you'd like to join us and bring up a controversial topic and chat it out with us, you can join us in group on Skype and join the conversation. But don't be shocked when we get done with you and kick you out.
Yeah.
All right, what's going on here?
And remember, I don't play well with others.
Yeah, and Angry Bong can be volatile, so you know.
Yeah.
Anyway. This is from
I'm
MSNBC, an exclusive look.
The
An exclusive look at President Trump 2005 tax return by Rachel Maddow of MSNBC, brought to us today here on the edge with Angry Bong. Here we go.
What I have here is a copy of Donald Trump's tax returns. We have his federal tax return for 1 year for 2005. I believe this is the only set of the president's federal taxes that reporters have ever gotten a hold of. What we have are these 2 pages, front and back, from the same 1040 form that you might have filled out when you file your taxes. And in terms of what's on here, let me give you the basics. Aside from the numbers being large, these pages are straightforward. He paid $38 million, looks like $38 million in taxes. He took a big write-down of $103 million. More on that later. If you add up the lines for income, he made more than $150 million in that year. Mazel tov. We got these pages. We got this document today from a Pulitzer Prize-winning investigative journalist who's better on financial matters than almost anybody else in the business. His name is David K. Johnston. These pages turned up the other day in his mailbox. David will join us live here in just a moment.
Okay, so I'm supposed to be replacing Trump with the name Obama as she goes on here.
We didn't know what to expect. When we showed this 2005 return to the White House to ask them if it's real, we sent this over to the White House tonight, and the White House responded basically with, yep. I'm going to read you the White House statement on this tonight. Quote, before being elected president, Mr. Trump was one of the most successful businessmen in the world, with a responsibility to his company, his family, and his employees to pay no more tax than legally required. That being said, Mr. Trump paid $38 million, even after taking into account large-scale depreciation for construction on an income of more than $150 million, as well as paying tens of millions of dollars in other taxes, such as sales and excise taxes and employment taxes. And this illegally published return proves just that. Despite this substantial income figure and tax paid, it is totally illegal to steal and publish tax returns. The dishonest media can continue to make this part of their agenda, while the president will focus on his, which includes tax reform that will benefit all Americans. White House statement for tonight. For the record, the First Amendment gives us the right to publish this return. It is not illegally published, nor are we fake. Pinch me, I'm real. But good on the White House for acknowledging the return as proof of what the president made and paid that year. Here's the thing, though. A full tax return for someone like Donald Trump would be a lot longer than the 2 pages that we have here. There are all kinds of schedules and notes and attachments that could be involved, all containing information about the president and his money. Why will he not release his taxes, his full taxes, the way other presidents have done? Why not let the public see the information for themselves? We have obtained this, but this is all we've got. This tells us something, but he still has disclosed, apparently willingly disclosed, nothing compared to all other modern presidents. Joining us now is David K. Johnston. He's editor and founder of DCReport.org, which has posted this document as of a few minutes ago. He's also the author of The Making of Donald Trump and the Pulitzer Prize-winning financial reporter who found the president's 2005 tax returns in his mailbox. David, thank you for being here.
Delighted.
First of all, congratulations on this scoop. What can you tell us about how you got these pages, how you got this document?
Came in the mail over the transom, and there is absolutely nothing improper about journalists, if you haven't solicited something, getting it over the transom. And by the way, let me point out, it's entirely possible that Donald sent this to me. Donald Trump has, over the years, leaked all sorts of things. The very sleazy girl-on-girl pictures of the First Lady in the New York Post may have come from Donald. The front pages of the state tax returns that we had that were sent to the New York Times and the New York Daily News news last
What do you
night.
think of that so far?
From Donald. Donald has a history of leaking
Pretty
material about
unbelievable,
himself,
isn't
and
it?
he thinks it's in his interest.
That he's
Do you
leaking.
believe
He
the
leaks
reason
his
to
own
believe that
shit
those documents that you just described
to
there
create his
were
own
leaked by him, or is it just a
diversions and
possibility?
shit.
It's a possibility, and it could have been leaked by someone in his direction. But with Donald, you never know. Donald creates his own reality. And he says things that aren't true. He says things and then denies he said them. He lives in this world that
Hey, that
the
sounds
world
like me.
where you and I live, a verifiable fact.
I'm just a poor version of
yes,
Donald
I think
Trump,
I
I'm
have to
realizing.
Include that in the list of
Yeah, me
possibilities.
too. I realize that too.
When you look at these,
At least I know that I'm a potential shitbag and I don't deserve to be president. I mean, that's a big difference.
in big tax returns. Do these numbers seem right to you? Obviously, the White House statement to us is reiterating the $150 million income number and the $38 million paid number.
Dude, so he paid $38 million in and he got $140 million back.
They fit the things we know
For a house
records about how Donald does business.
in America.
Dude, they leaked out his tax return paperwork, and it's saying here that he reported and paid $38 million in.
ExxonMobil.
And the
guy that
dividend
bought the house,
coming back on claims is $140 million. So he actually got a return of like $110 million something
The
dollars.
guy paid $100 million for Trump for a house Trump paid $40 million for. But the thing is, the guy paid the $100 million at a time when real estate was in the shitter in Florida, and never ever lived in it and tore the house down.
Well-to-do people, you and I.
And then he got a claim on it. I remember hearing something about that.
And then this guy, but the guy that bought the house turns out that he's some fucking money launderer from fucking Russia.
Donald Trump.
Money launderer from
He would
Russia.
have
Oh,
paid taxes
God.
at a lower rate.
And at the time when Trump sold him the house,
The poor in this
Trump
country
had this Deutschland bank or whatever breathing down his neck for fucking loans he had,
$3 million.
and this guy was connected to that bank.
He would have paid.
You watch this fucking thing.
$5 million, less than 3.5%.
You watch it to the end, you'll just fucking, it's a fucking unbelievable.
It's gonna tell more about that?
As it is.
Oh yeah, she keeps going.
Oh, my God.
36.5 million, not the 38 the White House statement says. They're counting his self-employment tax, which is payroll taxes. 36.5 million. He paid 24%. You know who pays 24% in this country? Married couples with two incomes, like my wife and I, who make about $400,000 a year. Donald Trump and his wife that year made $418,000 a day. And the point of this is, the top in this country, people at the top, are not burdened the way we suggest. I was in.
Let me stop you and let me restate some of that back to you, because you're a tax expert, and those of us who just pay taxes and aren't experts in them, I want to say it back to you, and you tell me if I'm getting it right. If there weren't something called the alternative minimum tax, you can tell from this 1040, from these 2 pages from his tax return in 2005, if there weren't an alternative minimum tax, he'd be paying what percent?
It's right on line 44. He would have paid $5.3 million, which is 24% of his $152.7 million of positive income. And that's in large part because he was able to say he had negative income of $103 million.
Okay. So because there is an alternative minimum tax.
They disregarded most of the negative income.
Yeah.
He had to pay taxes, he had to pay more in taxes, but he still got a benefit. You know why? Because at the top, people are supposed to be paying 35% that year, 39.6% this year. But if you're in the alternative minimum tax, you only pay 28%.
Okay.
That's a 20% discount on your taxes. Would you like to get a 20% discount on your taxes? That's what Donald Trump got here.
So the issue that, I tried to lay out at the top of the show reasons why people are so interested in his tax returns. The White House has made this issue and saying it's only reporters who care. People don't care. This was litigated in the election when he didn't release his tax returns and people voted for him anyway. There are a number of reasons to be interested in his tax returns, and I think a number of reasons why people continue to be.
And most importantly, what we don't have here, which is this describes the types of income, but not the sources.
Okay, so
that's what we need to know. Who is the president getting money from?
Well, we need to know sources of his income, whether or not he's beholden to somebody. We also need to know whether all the things he said about himself and his wealth and his charitableness and all those things are true. But we also need to know if he is going to take actions as president in terms of tax policy that are going to benefit him. And
he said he was worth billions.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah, you fucking can't believe nothing. The guy's never anything he's ever said.
Making like
their returns. We have Hillary Clinton's and Bill Clinton's returns back to the 1970s.
100-something million a year.
Why is it that Donald Trump is so insistent that we're not to see his tax returns? What there must be something hiding in his returns. Now, I've been at this for 50 years. I started as a teenager doing investigative reporting.
Listen to the guy, honestly.
Every time some high-level politician wants to hide something, it always turns out there's a reason. They've got something to hide. I have lots of things we can think of that Donald Trump has to hide, including sources of income and his connections to the Russian oligarchs who are...
What I have here is a copy of Donald Trump's tax returns. We have his federal tax return.
And understand that's their position in the world. And Donald Trump really is desperate that we don't see where his money comes from. And this is a man who we know was very deeply involved with one of the biggest drug kingpins in America in the 1980s. He risked his casino license just to show his loyalty to that man. He did business with the biggest mobsters in New York. For years, he traveled with the son of the head of the reputed Russian mob boss, himself a twice convicted felon. He says, I wouldn't know if he was in the room, even though they were together all the time, traveling. And many other criminals he has associated with throughout his life. So it's particularly relevant for us to say, where'd you get the money?
Where'd you
David
get
K.
the
Johnson
money?
is the editor and founder of DCReport.org.
It's relevant for us to say, where'd you get the
Can
money?
you stay with us for a moment? Sure. We're going to bring my colleague Chris Hayes into this discussion. I want to get back to this issue about the sources of Trump's money and also the source of this document tonight. We have
maybe it's the very next one. The sources of the money.
Chevy is the most awarded car company 3 years in a row.
Really?
Let's see how quickly you can read.
So, you know, all this ties to Russia, everything that's going on with Russia, and now this all coming up.
He's going up the river, bro.
If
they tie any of this realistically to him, the government will hang him just to wash their hands of him.
Well, I have a theory on that too. We can talk about that. I don't believe he has the support of the Republicans. I don't believe that Ted Cruz and all them guys just forgive Donald Trump because he won. He made them all look like monkeys fucking footballs during the primaries.
Yeah. No, I've seen several clips of them in interviews and press releases and them making faces behind his back as he's making statements.
So, yeah, I believe that what's going on right now is
more clown foolery.
They're smart enough to know they just couldn't hang him without feeling the wrath of the people.
Right.
So they had to allow him to hang himself. Right? You know what I mean?
This shit ain't going to go out now. This fire started, boy. I'll tell you. This shit here, this gets out, it's on MSNBC. This shit's spreading like wildfire by now, bro.
And their response today was, I put it in the chat, the White House says that she illegally released those. And she replied back that under the First Amendment, it's not illegal, nor is the news fake, adding, pinch me, I'm real.
Yeah, that was good. It's the beginning of that clip.
So, I'm here. You know what I mean? Like, this is real, and you got to address it, is what she's saying.
Yeah, dude, that is just epic proportions. Let's look at this next one and see what the fuck. I think maybe that was...
She gets a lot of flack from the right because she's on MSNBC, but in my opinion, she's got the best news program out there. She does the best job out of anybody.
I don't know. I'm a Redacted Tonight fan, but, the only thing I don't like about Redacted is that they are too far progressive on the gun control bullshit. Outside of that, pretty much everything they say is pretty damn accurate to what I look up.
Everybody believes in a form of gun control. Just the debate is, where's the line?
Where's the line at? Yeah, they go a little beyond the line in my opinion, but outside of that, everything else that they're for is exactly what I think, and they say all the same shit that I say about the shit. And for a while there in the beginning, before they got really big, we were exchanging a lot of freaking news topics and stuff, and they were bringing them up and researching them. So it was pretty cool little symbiosis there. They do interact with their listeners and stuff, so And the whole propaganda with RT television, RT television's independent of Russian government fucking shit. Yeah, I'm sure there's some propaganda shows on there, but for the most part...
Well, let's face it, Nabz. There's nothing independent coming out of Russia.
Huh?
There's nothing broadcasted in Russia coming out of Russia that's
yeah, but it's not a Russian. It's a Russian-owned company that is broadcasting in the United States, just like
that might be a little different. But
Al Jazeera or whatever it is, Al Jazeera Radio or whatever. It's the same kind of idea. It's just they air whoever has material to air that they think is maybe like in Redacted Tonight's example, making the U.S. government look bad by telling the truth. I mean, that's basically all they do is just dig up dirt like the Dakota Access Pipeline and fucking shooting protesters in the face and shit like that.
My whole thing about the pipeline is this is anybody that ignores this fact for the natives is that pipeline was supposed to go upriver from Bismarck. Bismarck said, "Hey, what if something happens? That's
yeah, we don't want it here." No, that's something that isn't brought up. Every other community around there. There's actually two parts to this that are fucked up. Number one, when you do an oil line like that, there's a federal mandate where they have to have the entire zone plotted out beginning to end and all the land purchased before they break ground. These guys didn't do that. They loopholed the local laws and shit. And they've just been buying a chunk of land next to the chunk of land they're on and then haggling it out with people as they go. So, like Dig Dug. They've been slowly, like, creeping counties across these states and shit, arguing with people. And everybody keeps giving up the fight. People are like, well, what about all these other oil pipelines? And I'm like, dude, those were argued and fought for too. You know, people can only hold up against something that the mass community is ignoring so long, you know. They get squished out. And people just go, oh, this pipeline, or what about all these pipelines? Yeah, dude, those pipelines are in dispute as well. I mean, I don't know, man. Like I was saying today, there is no racial ignorance and shit. It's just straight ignorance through all the races equally. Like,
I agree.
There's ignorant in every culture, in every religion, in every goddamn workplace. You got an ignorant motherfucker that just honestly deserves to die. But, you know, their ignorance, that's their free will. They have the right to be ignorant. So they teach their kids to be ignorant. And then it just spreads like a virus because they're allowed to be ignorant. You know, I think there should be a line drawn on opinion and fact. And there's not really much debate between opinion and fact. It either is fact or it isn't. Then it's opinion. But, yeah, it's fucked up, man. The whole fucking caboodle. It's pretty messed up. She's still going on here for another 20 minutes on this news shit.
Donald Trump's tax returns.
But where's the part about
returns? When Richard Nixon said, "I'm not a crook," he wasn't talking about Watergate. He was talking about his taxes. And in fact, he was kind of a crook on his taxes.
Says he's fucked.
He handed him over in 1973. In April 1974, the IRS ordered him to pay almost $500,000 in back taxes. Because, in fact, President Nixon had taken improper deductions and he hadn't paid enough. I mean, that was the least of his problems in the end, but that was, in fact, one of his problems.
They got it right where they want.
Presidents and presidential candidates have released their taxes ever since. Donald Trump's presidential campaign this past year, Hillary Clinton, she released every year of her tax returns back to 1977.
Yeah, because 90% of her crook dealings were sent through a charity channel.
He made history by insisting that he would not, that indeed he could not release
Hillary?
Yeah.
And it
she lost.
Made sense.
Yeah, she's still a crook.
No, but she lost. So whenever anybody in the right, I've already seen that argument today. Okay, that may be, and if she had won, that's the stuff we'd be talking about today. But she lost.
Right.
So, you know, that has absolutely zero factor into what Donald Trump did with Russia.
And since we later learned he
Right.
was cheating on his taxes,
Well,
it seems like that was
yeah,
well
absolutely
spent.
nothing.
Because I agree. Like, there's a whole discussion you can have about Hillary Clinton, but when you mesh the two of them together at this point, all you're doing is blurring the lines. Because she's a non-factor now in any of
Every
this.
single president and every single
Right?
vice president.
This is all
has
Donald
been
Trump's
audited
problem.
by the IRS.
Right?
Honestly, my big problem with all of this is that Hillary's not being hung for charity crimes. That shit should be done regardless.
How can you, in all fairness, how can you hang Hillary and not start hanging churches, or countless other charities that do the exact same thing? Like the real problem is that charities are a scam.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like the NFL is a charity. You know that, don't you?
The NFL doesn't pay for any of its events. I know that.
The NFL has charity status. That's why the NFL does all that community stuff with their players and shit. No shit. You look into that, Nabz. The NFL doesn't pay income tax.
I know that. They also don't pay for their events.
So, like, think about that. Like, fucking, how much do fucking networks pay to broadcast the Super Bowl? Right? Like,
Well, you ain't telling me nothing new. I knew the NFL was a sham, fucking nearly out of the gate. But anyway.
But that's the issue there, is that charities as a whole should be on trial.
That is a good point. Charities should not be accessible as
Should
a
be a lot
write-off.
harder to be a charity.
Huh?
Or a church.
You what?
Should be a lot harder to be a charity or a church.
Yeah, exactly.
And most of the money brought in shouldn't be allowed to be chewed up in administrative costs. Right?
Yeah, they're only legally required to pay out 1% of all money gained to a charity cause.
So basically,
disgusting.
it's just a big make work project for a bunch of fucking assholes that they play on the heartstrings of people and do very little for anybody except for themselves.
Exactly. They pocket $99 out of every $100.
Some of them are better than others, but
some are good, but the majority are just scams of one sort.
Like UNICEF is one of the worst, I guess.
I would say the worst of all time would be the Red Cross.
I guess UNICEF was real bad. And the reason I remember UNICEF is because I remember being in school and they used to send around UNICEF boxes sent to the students.
Right.
And come to find out, that was because UNICEF was kicking money into the school boards. Right? You know what I mean? So if I get here, school board, here's some money. And now you get all the students go around and knock on doors and bum change. Like, what a scam.
Shit. 6 minutes left to this episode. Number 4. Angry Bong and Nabz chopping the wax. Yeah, man. Yep. So I don't know. What did you have you seen the Snoop Dogg video where he's shooting him with the clown face shit?
No, I haven't.
It's pretty messed up, bro. Like the whole video is like clown people fucking walking around, and Trump is king of the clown people, and
well, it's pretty. I don't know.
Accurate.
It is very accurate, and it wasn't that long ago. Ted Nugent said that he was going to shoot Obama if he fucking got elected, and then the Republicans invited him to the fucking head Ted Nugent at the State of the Union address. You remember that? And then Obama sat him beside that gay guy.
Yeah.
Don't you remember that? I think that Ted Nugent's a fucking embarrassment.
Oh, dude. Don't get me going with Ted. Shit.
You know, the guy can play guitar, but fuck, man.
That don't make him right.
Yeah.
That don't make him right.
No, he's way out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's more lost than I ever thought he was. But, you know.
That comes from being fucking, you know, rock star and then always having a bunch of suckholes around you for years. You know what I mean? A bunch of leeches hanging off you.
Cronies.
You know what I mean? A bunch of yes men, same as Donald Trump.
Yes, man. Feed the sociopaths. That's how that works.
Well,
isn't it the APATH? The APATH.
You're always going to have them fucking guys that think they can suck off that, right?
Right. Well, table scrap.
Yeah, like they're always you're always gonna have those guys always have their minions around them that just fucking.
But that's how 90% of our fucking society operates, is on hope for table scraps. You know, it's pretty pathetic.
Well, I guess that's why fucking I don't fit into society, because fucking I don't give a fuck what I have from day to day. Right?
Yeah.
I just live in the day.
Live in the moment, man.
Yep.
That's where the light. That's where the light is, anyway.
When a problem arises, I figure out a way to solve it, and then I move to the next day.
Problems. How you gonna solve them?
I don't dwell, and I don't say, "Well, fuck, I got to work here, and I can't quit this job because I got to have money in my 401k and IRSPs, and because when fuck it, I'll worry about that when I'm 60. I'll figure it out."
I didn't even share this fucking show around. See what I'm doing here? No wonder we got no listeners. You got a listener? I got a listener. I don't know.
That's me. I think I'm the only listener.
We're listening to ourselves. It's okay. We will get through this together. No, seriously. You want to do another show? Let's do another show. 2 minutes 34. We're listening to It's Pitch Dark, MC Frontalot. If you tune in again in just a few minutes for episode 5.
You are likely to be eaten. You are likely to be eaten by a group. If this predicament seems particularly cruel, consider whose fault it could be. Now the torture a match in your inventory. You are likely to be eaten by a group. If this predicament seems particularly cruel, consider whose fault it could be. Now the torture a match in your inventory. It got narrated at you in the second person. Every time you put it up, it seems you got another version of your life told to you by a status line blinking. The impossible people you could be without thinking yourself insane. Of personality problems with a mop on a dropship or trying to stab a goblin that don't play. In public life, you get arrested. Psychoactive medication daily in your big intestine. And the testing that the voices in your head said the dwarf shot first. Embedded arrow, then you bled for doctors with needles. Posit repeatedly that you knocked down that midget in the park unneededly. This has seeded the idea that you should never venture from the house. Never get misunderstood by the non-player characters inhabiting Earth. None of whom are too concerned about Nord and Bert. Not one of whom ever aimed to fish around the room, trying to get it in the ear canal, because Doomby said the last planet they were on or near the verge of a set of poetics they wouldn't hear. Never peered at the clues with invisible ink. No SM goddesses ever gave them pause to think. Never piloted 6 robots, each distinct. Don't matter how many 2 liters they drink, they're not going to follow what you're saying at all. They impugn and appall in the scope of their gall as you hide in your room in disgust with the lights turned out. Turn them on in a turn, leave them off for now. You are likely to be eaten. You are likely to be eaten by a group. If this predicament seems particularly cruel, consider whose fault it could be. Now the torture a match in your inventory. You are likely to be eaten by a group. If this this predicament seemed particularly cruel, consider whose fault it could be. Not a torch or a match in your inventory.